Hey guys. Okay, before I get started, I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna go back to doing the guide until next Wednesday because, well, I just I just don't want to get back into the guide so soon. Mainly because I kind of just don't want to get into like depression because it's a very touchy subject. But anyway, I'm gonna go on like a mini rant here because recently, I have discovered the music of Marilyn Manson, and I want to bring your attention to something that a lot of people think about him. He's a Satanist. Technically, that's true, but what most people don't understand about the form of Satanism that he belongs to, he's not actually interested in it. The form of Satanism that he's a part of, it's all about worshiping yourself, and it doesn't really believe in a literal devil. It's the animalistic behavior within all of us that, and we're taught, and they're taught to like not neglect that animal-like nature. So technically, he's an atheist. And if you think that like, oh, he's twisted because he does whatever in his videos, well, guess what? And this information I'm giving you, I'm gonna leave a video to another YouTuber's channel where I got this information, and he explained this, and once he explained it, I'm like, the fact that people don't really do their research and just start making assumptions about Marilyn Manson, or just heavy metal in general. Anyway, I'll leave the link to that video in the description. But there's some, okay, granted, there are some metal bands that are satanic. But those are very few bands. There are even some Christian metal bands. Hell, this guy, Alice Cooper, he's a Christian. A devoted Christian, believe it or not. He battled drug addiction and then revitalized himself as a Christian. And he saved his marriage, and he hasn't touched drugs or alcohol since, and he's been happily married, and he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And a lot of people think that like only mentally disturbed people listen to heavy metal. Well, some do, but some don't. Like, I listen to metal sometimes. I like Slipknot, obviously Alice Cooper, this band called Disturbed. People think they're satanic, when first of all, their lead singer is a devoted Jewish man. He's so devoted, he refuses to get tattoos. And most people will be like, so he just can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery, big deal. I mean, Kerry King from Slayer is Jewish, but he has tattoos. Maybe because Kerry King from Slayer isn't really that religious. Anyway, so, as I was saying about Marilyn Manson, a lot of the stuff that he does is really just to get you to think. And if he makes you uncomfortable, guess what? He's doing his job. He did his job right. And when you think about it, he's a very open person. And if Jesus was alive today, the two of them would actually be really good friends. because Jesus was an open person, and obviously Marilyn Manson's an open person. And that was actually brought up in another YouTuber's video of her Christian friend was reacting to Marilyn Manson music videos. Again, I'll look for the link and I'll leave it in the description. And in the next video, they were reacting to the comments saying like, your Christian friend's a dumbass because she doesn't really know anything about Marilyn Manson, so she has no right to judge him, or somewhere between those lines, which that's actually a very good point. And which leads me to something else. A lot of people have a lot of expectations towards me, so this is why I bring up all this, because I know from experience what it feels like to be accused of being something that you're not, and being a certain way that you're actually not. Because like my freshman year, somebody actually wrote me a hateful letter. Okay, first of all, they're chicken shit for not saying that shit to my face. They wrote a fucking letter, put it in one of my binders, and then just ran off like a little bitch. And they didn't even, they were smart to leave their initials, A.L. Al. There's like a billion people that it could be. And basically saying that they they think that I was, because back then I had serious anger issues, and they assumed that the reason why I had anger issues was because I listened to metal. Okay, first of all, I'm more into Michael Jackson, Boys to Men. Be like, dude, you're a heavy metal dude? You listen to nothing but heavy metal? Then when you hear the other stuff I listen to, it kind of cancels that thought out. It cancels out that assumption. Hell, there was even a time when I listened to the Jonas Brothers, Justin Bieber, Corbin Bleu, High School Musical, and a whole bunch of other stuff that at the time I was actually called gay because of that stuff. I still sometimes listen to that stuff more than I listen to metal. And people actually thought I was an atheist because of the way I act, only to find out that I'm a devoted Christian. And people assume that because I'm a singer, like, dude, you must get a lot of chicks. You must get laid a lot. Actually, I had to burst your fucking bubble. And I've said this a gazillion times. I have the worst luck with girls. Now, when it comes to getting girls to be my friend, that's another story. Just look at my Instagram. I've been giving a lot of shout outs in the past because I'm showing my friends how much I appreciate them. And people assume that because of like the way I joke around means that I'm disrespectful towards women and I'm sexist, when I'm actually not. And Gene Simmons is the same way. He's accused of being a sexist, but when you actually get to know him, watch film, watch Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, you'll find out he's a fucking teddy bear. Okay? And when it comes to the assumption of like me getting laid, I've also said this, because I'm a devoted Christian. I'm abstinent. No sex until marriage. Regardless of what you say, no sex until marriage. If you try to pressure me into breaking that promise I made to God, I'm just gonna get mad and storm out, and I won't talk to you until you take it back. people assume that Ozzy Osbourne is a Satanist. He worships Satan. He sacrifices animals. The closest thing that he's ever done to that was the thing with the bat. He thought it was rubber. He even said it a gazillion times. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Ozzy Osbourne, and Ozzy Osbourne rumors or whatever, and it'll come up. And people thought the same thing about Alice Cooper. But the thing is, back then, he was at the top of his notoriety. If he said, "Oh, I'm not like that at all," he would lose his credibility. The band Twisted Sister, the lead singer, devoted Christian. The band got in trouble for encouraging violence or whatever because of one of their music videos. Then their lead singer, D something, I keep forgetting. I don't listen to them that much. Honestly, this just shows how non-metal, it shows how much of a metalhead I'm not. How much I'm not really that into metal. He made a lot of statements that really hurt the band's reputation. And people also assume that what people assume about me is that I mistreat women and I'm and all that, but I'm not. Again, go to my Instagram. Look at the things I say when I give shoutouts to my friends that are girls. You'll find out that I respect them. I mean, sure, I'll admit that sort of sexist stuff. I acted that way around Stephanie because she didn't mind. I kind of believe it or not, all guys have urges to do that stuff, regardless of what you think. Sure, most guys won't admit it, but I will. I've said this many times. I only acted that way around Stephanie because we were joking. Ugh. Ugh. I can't even fucking talk today because we were joking around in private and I didn't want to look like a jerk. Because if it was in public, I'd look like a jerk. That's what I was trying to say. But my mind's in a fog today. Anyway, overall, back to Marilyn Manson before I sign off. If you want to know my opinion of all that stuff, I just think it looks cool. He's an awesome artist. And again, he doesn't worship Satan. He's technically an atheist. The point of this video is you should never ever judge someone before you get to know them. Now, if you do your research on certain celebrities, then you can judge them. But if they're like Tom Cruise and they're acting all weird, yeah, you can judge them because if you say that they're weird, that's pretty much true. But anyway, I'm glad I did this rant because I was bored out of my fucking skull. And so, overall, I love heavy metal, but I'm not weird and I'm not a sexist and I'm not any of that stuff. I just like metal because I think it's awesome. It's a great way to let out your anger. Anyway, so I'll let you guys go. I'll see you on Monday when I do a very special and very personal video, and you'll see what I mean. See ya.